So this would be part 7 of the hard drive, one hard drive, and this is IC chips. It's 5 ounces of plus 200 mesh. That's out of 4 pounds of crushed IC chips. And this is sediment collected. It's sediment collected from different runs you'll see in all the videos. So this is the a previous video not too long ago. It's a LG Verizon phone. This is the first run off of it, and this is the second run off the LG Verizon. This here is a previous video, a flip phone. This is the first run, and this is the second run. So that's how it goes with everything. The first run is a different color. This is the 3 PCBs. This is the first and second run together. Combined them together. But so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 different colors of metal sediment. There's no solids. It is a solid, but it's not in the solid that we understand it to be. It's a sediment. You'd get this sediment if you were to dissolve scrap electronics using acids, but I'm not using acids. Using hydrogen peroxide and a 12-volt battery. See, there's a hard drive in there. The hard drive is hanging from the terminal wire, and the ground wire is floating. So this has been in here for, it's been active in here for now overnight, about 17 hours since the previous video. I haven't done anything with it except for scrape it off some with a, just I scraped it a little bit, scrape it off a little bit. It might help clean it off. So this is the 7th, maybe 8th run. Anyway, we'll say it's the 7th run for this. That's approximately 20 hours for each session. 7 runs. We're at 140 hours that has been in there. The same with the IC chips. They've been running about the same. So you can hear it bubbling. It's just air bubbles coming out. So I'm going to clean these off, clean them out, and I'm going to add this in with the other sediment recovered. This is the IC chips. I'm going to add it to this. So you see this is starting to accumulate more blue sediment. So the blue is, there's going to be some blue. There's a little bit of blue in there. So I clean that out. So I'll just reuse the water, hydrogen peroxide, and I'll clean it off with the used hydrogen peroxide. I don't really want to add any more water to it. But it's just over-the-counter hydrogen peroxide and a 12-volt battery. 3% hydrogen peroxide. So you have to take the hydrogen peroxide and neutralize it. Basically, it becomes neutralized itself over time because there's an out-of-date time for hydrogen peroxide. But it's still effective as an electrolyte. With the electricity, it increases oxidation. So the discs are made of platinum and palladium. We know all about platinosis, whatever it is. But there's nobody drinking this stuff. And there's no fumes coming off of it, no acids involved. But anyway, whether it's palladium or platinum or anything, you ingest it, you know, it doesn't matter what it is. You breathe it in, any kind of metal, you can become sick, right? If you breathe it in as a dust or a fume or whatever. So this is a dead battery. It's a return battery for out of a car because it went dead in the car. I just use it as an electrolytic capacitor, basically. It holds a small charge, enough to do this. So I try not to disturb that because I want to siphon it off without disturbing it up. So I've been brushing it off a few times already today. It's still collected up. Still builds up on it. A little more each day. It's coming apart. But it's still solid. Still a solid piece of metal. That outer layer of palladium is coming off. And it's probably a platinum disc underneath. With the white, the grayish stuff underneath is with all that. It's like aluminum foil just coming off of there. But it's in here. But so that's the terminal. Still solid. So you might see a blue haze or a glare or something. It's not blue, it's white. The camera kind of alters the color a little bit. But So I'll just stick it back in there. Should I hook it? Floating ground. And just put the hydrogen peroxide back in. So this is the hazy water from yesterday. You see there's still a little bit in the bottom. Just hang it in there. So they'll run in there for another 20 hours. And I'll clean it off again. Siphon this off. Oh, let me take the ground wire off. Crap. I was just gonna show it running in there, but take the ground wire out. That was running in there for 20 hours, 17 hours. So there's about, I don't know, more than 7 different metals in the IC chips. There's ceramic, there's silicon, silver solder, some say there's rhodium in there. I don't know. Not much. I think there's palladium. No platinum in IC chips, as far as I know. The blue crystals are silver. That's silver coming out. These are the contacts, the breaker contacts. That's a sediment. These are the breaker contacts. You see in the previous video. So it's a copper over top of maybe a steel plate. That might be a steel plate, because when I curled that, it crumbled. So this, I mean, it's pretty obvious it is. But the other part is either brass or gold plated. But so when that copper came off there, so probably steel, the iron. But there's no way you're gonna bend that over. Not gonna happen. You're gonna do that with a thumb. So obviously it's breaking down. See the size difference? I don't want to break down the copper, see, or the steel. So, I mean, if I started this one, I was just doing a test on these, run it with that on there. I didn't have to, but I was just showing. The next one, if I do this, I'll take that off. And those little, what looks like points right there, are just rivets. Whatever type of metal they are. So, it's just a test. Wire still in the same condition, same one, still pretty solid. I think I changed it twice, but this has been in here for 7 times. So that'll if I keep running it, this crumbles, breaks down, and it becomes a deposit. And after the material loses its color of whatever type of metal it is, you know, this is what's at the bottom. Sometimes in the copper out of other stuff. That's what this is right here. That comes out of here. This was from the PCBs and everything, the micro components that are collected at the bottom. After running the stuff, PCBs. So these got to be run again. You see there's still color on there. Still loaded with color. The 3 golden color PCBs, there's not very many of them. These are the 3 that I did separate. And that's what's in here. But there's still color on those boards. And after collecting the sediment out after reverse electroplating the boards, sediment is collected at the bottom, and I collect it and put it in here. See all the wires, they come off. See, SIM cards, all the stuff. But you do is you mix this up after, and it, see the sediment is still coming off of it. And what you do is you just stir it up and you pour it off. Pour off the whatever is trapped in the water, It's not solid, not exactly. But gotta clean this out. So it might be a different color than the previous run. Won't know until you really mix it up and clean it off. And but it's got a bluish tint to it, making it darker brown. Or but that's what it is. This is from 7 runs. It's thick. I don't know what it's gonna weigh at. This is 5 ounces of plus above 200 mesh out of 4 pounds of IC chips. I have all the other sediment, the other 4 pounds. This is 5 ounces. So whatever I collect off this from here, dry it out and weigh it up, bag it. So I'm just going to use this because it's going to take a lot of water. Sometimes it takes quite a bit of water to clean this off. So you watch right on the rim of the glass. You don't want any solids going in there. It's what's in the water is probably below 50 mesh, in the range below 50 mesh. Now when it gets very small, very low mesh, that's when you're dealing with the acids and you break down the sediment more. But so it might be, you know, this sediment might be 0 mesh, so it can go below. It can be negative 10 mesh. When you're dealing with the acids and breaking it down more, it goes into the negative on the mesh. Even though they don't scale it and look at it that way, because it's measured in microns because they can only measure mesh and how they make the screens and what they, you know, or what they make them as, coffee mesh or fishbowl mesh or food mesh or the metal screening mesh, the magnet. sediment attracted to metal or to magnets, so it can be separated. Pretty clear already. So I can keep running this, or I'll take and incinerate it and run it through a grinder. See, this stuff I couldn't get through a coffee grinder. It's too big. And there's still, you know, some silicon chips in there that can be broken down. So we're going to have ceramic in it. So it's pretty clean. A little bit dirty, but so let that settle down. And I'll add these together. So the silicon chips, they have to be broken down because they're layers of metal on top of each other. Got a little glare on plastic. So that's going to be another good amount to here. Same as the last run and the ones before it. Each run is about the same amount. And I just add it to the stock pot. Start this back up and run it for another up to 20 hours. Take the electrode and put it down on the bottom. Cover it up with the material. Some used hydrogen peroxide. Use it over and over. Have a floating ground. So I'll just run the battery charger for a couple minutes. It doesn't need any more than a half hour a day, even on this battery that's shot. So it's kind of dusty in there. See some movement. It's hard to see if anything's going on really, but you just look for movement and bubbles. Might need to be an adjustment. I see bubbles right there. So that's going. Just might be a loose connection or something. how it clears up. Nice and clear. Brand new. It's a HP. This is one full session of almost 2 weeks. That was about 140 hours. I mean, 280 hours. 140 for 1 week. You do 10 hours a day. Or 7 days a week. 10 hours a day is 70 hours. So 70 hours for a week. 2 weeks, 140 hours. So it was so the flip phone, I ran that longer, but it doesn't, like with this LG phone, it only ran for one session of, overnight, 12 to 18 hours. That's what came off of it. And the second run for the LG Verizon is there. That was the same amount of time of the run session. It may not need to go that long. Good activity. Cover up the the hot wire. Cover it up. Keep the material away from the ground, the floating ground. So I'll just leave this unattended. Nothing more to do. So I don't know if I'm going to keep running it after all the metallic comes off. I can stop at that point, or I can keep going with it. See if it'll break down the platinum that may be what's underneath the wafer made out of. Maybe platinum and something else. Because if it wasn't casted from two different metals, it won't break down. So take a break. Lights out.